Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of The Real Podcasters, the show where we talk all things movies, TV shows, video games and a bunch of other things in no particular order. Back after 2 weeks, this is so weird. My name is Regan and I'm joined, as I say, for the first time in 2 weeks by my ecstatic co-host / tired co-host, it's Dan.
Hi everyone, I'm back from Tenerife. I'm
Dan.
sort of dreading how many things Regan must have watched in my absence. He's either watched far more, or I'm just really paranoid and thinking that he's just watched an absolute shit ton of things when he probably hasn't. But I got a feeling it's probably the maybe just slightly behind my record of playlists.
Yes,
but
and the
I guess
record
we're
last
gonna
time
find out.
was 40.
Yeah, it was exactly 40. 40 to be exact.
So, this week we're not going to be reviewing any movies or TV shows. Hell, we're not even going to talk about that D23 debacle because, quite frankly, I'm sick of last-minute changes to this podcast. I planned out the next 10 or 15 episodes. I'm not even going to try and change that again. So instead, as mentioned 2 weeks ago, literally 2 weeks ago today, we're going to be having a little bit of a discussion on the state of the DC extended universe over at Warner Brothers Discovery, because no one ever talks about this sort of thing. It's just kind of comical at this point.
Yeah.
But it's been a pretty ridiculous few months for the studio, and the franchise looks even more in doubt than ever, even when they claim they've got a 10-year plan. I've more likely got a 10-year plan for this podcast than they do for that bloody franchise. Spoiler alert, I do. So we talk about that a bit later on, and as ever, there are time codes in the description if you do want to jump around a bit. But first, it's Dan's extremely limited playlist, which I'm rather terrified to hear.
Alright, this is just even record setting, so the record was 40, wasn't it?
Highest record, yeah.
Minus 39, so one thing out of everything.
You still only watched one thing?
Yeah!
Okay. Do it really slowly.
I have...
Okay, quicker, hurry up.
So this was on the flight to Tenerife because, me and my girlfriend watched Split, which was a rewatch, which is an M. Night Shyamalan film.
Ah, yes, good old Split.
It's actually a little better than I remembered. I mean, I like the film, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's just a bit better than I remembered.
And you're saying that after watching it on the plane?
Yeah. I think
That is
maybe
probably...
all of these personas that he has just kind of identify with everyone on the plane. There's probably someone like Hedwig on the plane somewhere. Mr. Dennis.
Oh, hey. Oh, yeah, he's
Mr.
absolutely
Dennis.
there.
Mr. Dennis just like this.
He's coming.
He's coming. My name's Hedwig.
Oh, man, I absolutely love Split.
Yeah.
I think actually... You know what it is? I think I have only watched a film once on the plane, and I think it was that Water for Elephants with Robert Pattinson. It was back at the time when everyone laughed at the idea of Robert Pattinson being in a film because he was still in Twilight.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson playing any other role than a sparkly vampire.
Yeah.
I think the only other thing I've watched on a plane was the original Jurassic Park, and that was the first time I went abroad, but this time I just watched Split.
You could have at least watched Jurassic Park 3. Like, Howie.
I know, that would have been more comical, wouldn't it? I just turned around and then it's just, Dan, wake up. But yeah, that's just literally all I've watched. I planned to watch absolutely loads. I downloaded absolutely loads to watch. Didn't do it.
Didn't watch a thing.
No, because, just holiday, just chill out. Not a thing.
Abysmal
Not a dicky
as
bird.
fuck. I'm disappointed.
Not a dicky bird. Yes, that's a record setter for one thing. I'm pretty sure I've just set the record for that.
Okay, then. Shall we just move on to mine, then? If that's,
yeah, we may as
that's
well.
The case. Okay. Before I say how many things I've actually watched, just out of curiosity, when you've watched Classic Who, do you, say if it was a 6-part serial, do you count that as watching 6 things or 1?
1, because it's all part of the same feature.
That's fine. I've watched 42 things.
Oh, you absolute... Right?
Do you know what it is, though? I'll say this. That's bollocks to me because you've watched 40 in 1 week.
So you've more or less done like 20 a week, really.
The usual, yeah.
Yeah, the usual. You know,
Yeah.
you just have nothing better to do, do you?
All it is just back and forth every single episode of like, you have no life. No, you have no life. You do. Honestly.
Lovely. Right, get to it because I've got a feeling Classic Who has obviously been mentioned in this list at some point.
Yeah, a little bit later. We'll start off with the video game side of things. One thing. I have finally, well, I say finally, for the 4th attempt, gone back to Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay.
Again, 4th time. I ended up getting the deluxe edition when the game initially released, give it a day, and then deleted it. Because, quite frankly, it was way too slow. Like, glacial, which is ironic because you start off in the snow. And, like, once a year since then, I've been thinking, I'll go back to it when I have storage space, because it's quite extensive.
Oh, yeah, it is a very big game. Like, goodness
Very,
me.
very big game. That being said, on this go, the 4th time, I think I'm about 25% of the way through the main story, which is about 24% more than I did any other time, quite frankly. I gave it a percent and thought,
All right.
I'm going to have to start over, because this is just... it's yielding its charm. I'm slowly getting onto the bandwagon that everyone else was when it initially released, where I was like, this is one of the best games ever. Not to the point with me, though. I still think there's bits and bobs that I'm a bit iffy on. I did find it very funny, though, how you have to bond with your horse. So there's like 4 bonding stages. It sounds really smutty. It really isn't. It's just really fucking annoying. Where you know how like you can whistle for your horse and it'll come to you? If you haven't bonded with it properly, and you whistle, a little thing will come up in the corner saying your horse is too far away. You need to bond with it more. And I'm like, fuck you, Rockstar, for Christ's sake. I just want to get out of the gorge that I've fallen in, because this hasn't got Assassin's Creed level of parkour, annoyingly.
There is no such thing as parkour in Red Dead Redemption 2. There's no such thing. Even jumping is very, very limited. It's like he's being weighed down by like 1,000 rocks.
Yeah, I even stay away from the shops because you can pick up the items off the shelf and look at them and then read. I think you need to read them. You're only allowed to carry a certain amount of guns because it's realistic. The rest you need to keep on your horse. You can lose your hat, which became the point of comedy for most of it. I was like, I've lost my fucking hat. I failed.
What kind of cowboy am I?
Exactly. I'm clearly a failure. And your beard can grow as well, and you can trim it if it gets too long. I'm like, fuck it, I'm keeping it. I want to look like a cowboy version of Charles fucking Darwin very, very soon.
I see what you mean with it being a slow game. Like, you do have to pump quite a lot of effort into that game, Regan. I won't lie. You really do.
So it's taken a while, but as I say, it is slowly yielding its charms, just because, like, compared to Grand Theft Auto, which, conveniently enough, we're talking about in a couple of weeks, yay. This is the exact opposite. And I can totally understand why people got so frustrated with the fact that the online mode has just been left vacant. Not by players, but by Rockstar. They've just not released anything. So I've just stayed away from the online mode of that. I just stuck with single player. And quite frankly, if the online mode is as slow as this...
I've honestly never bothered with Red Dead Online. Never bothered with it. I've always just been single player in Red Dead. Always been single player.
Yeah. But yeah, that's been my game for the past fortnight. Let's get on to the other stuff that I've actually been watching. First I'm watching Fresh, which you watched a couple of months ago. The Sebastian Cannibal thing.
Yeah.
Very similar to 10 Cloverfield Lane, minus the monster bits.
Yeah.
The setup is pretty much identical. And I'm sorry to Sebastian Stan, he's a fabulous actor, but considering this, he just, I know him best as Bucky. And now he calls himself Steve in this film. I'm thinking, you took Cap's demise to like a very high degree, and now you're calling yourself Steve. and you've turned into a psychopath.
It's
Even
kind
more
of
of a
morbid
psychopath
in
than he
some
was
ways
initially.
as well. Like, you took Captain America's name and you're a cannibal. Huh.
Yeah.
He's like, well,
Cannibal
people-
America.
Cannibal America. Captain Cannibal.
Yeah, Captain Cannibal. But yes, I thought that was very good. Very, very much enjoyed that one. As ever, plenty of horrible histories. Onto the, I'm going to call it the final series, because it's the last one before the majority of the cast go and they're just replaced by like celebrities who are not very funny, which is ironic because Ben Miller's in the next series and he's actually a funny guy, just not in that. I also watched Halloween 2. You've never seen joy like that.
Hold on, right? Is this the 1981 one or the Rob Zombie one?
Oh yeah, I'm literally just gonna go straight for the Rob Zombie
thank
sequel.
God.
No,
Thank
I
God! Oh, I'm so happy.
haven't. Fucking hell.
Oh, I've got a warm, fuzzy feeling inside of me.
Didn't be talking about. Didn't be talking to me about the insides of you, honestly. Yeah, it's pretty good. I quite liked it. It is. I mean, I can now see the Halloween kills in virtually every single scene. It's nowhere near as good. It's obviously better than the 2018 one, which I know you'll disagree with probably, but I don't like that one. I've already said it. But I like the definitive end to Michael Myers until Halloween 4, probably.
Oh yeah,
I don't know,
the
I
return
haven't
of
watched
Michael
Halloween
Myers' eyebrows.
4.
Oh yeah.
I shit you not, I wasn't even planning on watching this. I think it was because I'd seen the Halloween Resurrection had gone off Netflix, but the rest of them were on. I was like, okay, I'll hurry up then. So I watched that one. Have you ever heard of a series that's currently streaming on BBC iPlayer called Class?
No, but I've seen it on there.
You've seen it on there, yeah. That is the last attempt at a spin-off of the world-renowned series that we've talked a little bit about every so often, Doctor Who.
Yeah, I saw it on the I don't want to say like the highlights thing, but it's like, when you watch something, it's like because you watched.
Yeah.
Like it was along there.
Mm-hmm. When we get around to talking about, I think it'll be series 10 in a couple of months. I'll reference Class a bit more because this was released in the time between series 9 and 10 was released, because there was a bit of a year gap.
Okay.
This is all set in the school that was shown in the original episode of Doctor Who, Coal Hill School, now Coal Hill Academy, with a bunch of students who were going through, just sort of like the norms of love, sex, violence, and teaching and learning. Oh, and there's rifts in space and time that are tearing open in the school, and there's people getting killed, and there's blood everywhere, and swearing and everything. It's not Doctor Who, but seeing a character covered in blood and missing a leg being carried by the 12th Doctor is suddenly... I didn't know I needed that. I didn't know I needed it.
See, this is just what I've always wanted.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though, is that series never took off. No one watched it, but it got really, really good reviews. And I can see why, because I gave up after the second episode. I was like, oh, fuck it. And then I finally watched the entire series, and you know what? It is actually quite good. It's not great by any means, but as I say, we'll talk about it.
So would
bit
you
later on.
recommend it, like, as somebody who watches quite a lot of Doctor Who?
Don't go in expecting Doctor Who. There are bits of it that I do wish was Doctor Who. There's actually there's a subplot with flower petals that actually is very Stephen Moffat, to be honest.
Okay.
Just expect it to end on a cliffhanger because it does. Because they were hoping for a second season, and they didn't get that. There is some audio things by Big Finish, which I am gonna. Those might end up being the first things I actually get from Big Finish. I would quite like to listen to them. Also, you will hate the opening titles and the music. You will hate it.
Right. Oh
It's
dear.
terrible. I don't know what they were doing, but there we go. 2 episodes of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, episodes 3 and 4.
God. I've got so much. I've only seen the first episode, dude. I've only seen.
I would just give up at this point. To be honest, it's not.
All I know. I mean, this is all I know so far, right? That She-Hulk twerks, and I've just seen that all over Facebook because it's just become a meme. I just
Let's
know
just
that.
say That shot got better when someone photoshopped it into the singing Joker with him dancing down the stairs.
I saw that one.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's far, far better. Yeah. Just, yeah. Next up, finished Doctor Who Series 8 with Dark Water and Death in Heaven. I haven't watched this finale for a couple of years, actually. There's a lot of Series 8 I hadn't watched for a couple of years. As I say, we'll talk more about it a bit later in the lifespan of this podcast, providing it lasts then. Probably will. Funnily enough, when I was planning for September, this next one was initially going to be the focus of, technically it would have been last week, and that is Spider-Man No Way Home, the more fun stuff version, featuring a dazzling, extreme 11 minutes of extra stuff. Pointless. Absolutely pointless.
I was just waiting for that. I wasn't even expecting, like, oh, it's fantastic. And then I was just expecting you to just come up with...
I mean, look, the core film is still terrific. I still love it. But the new stuff adds absolutely nothing. Like, nothing.
What even is the new stuff? Like,
so
can you, like, kind of pinpoint
scenes...
what is, like, I know that I've kind of heard like some dialogue is like in that wasn't in like the theatrical cut and stuff like this, or like there's a scene that wasn't in.
So there's a fair few scenes that have been extended with a couple of extra stuff. There's a new scene with Peter in high school. He's being goaded into climbing up a wall, and then he's called a freak. I'm like, but yeah, because that's exactly how high school is. Well done, Sony, you've cracked it again. Fucking failures. There's more stuff with the three Spideys towards the end when they're just talking. And the Doctor Strange trailer is removed entirely from the end credit scene and is now something else entirely. Which adds a little bit more to the whole spell thing that Doctor Strange does towards the end, but again, it's mostly pointless. I should have assumed that because, no offense, 11 minutes isn't going to suddenly change a film that's already amazing. But I had to pay for this. The only reason it's better is because the poster's better. The poster is superior, because at least you've got the three of them. There's an extra bit with Daredevil, if anyone cares. I didn't. If it comes to streaming, you can watch it on there. I'm pretty certain it'll be out as cinemas by now.
I'd imagine it would be like quite a limited thing, because why else would you keep it in cinema for this long?
Well, exactly, yeah. We've now got Doctor Who Series 9. I'm already I think it's 8 episodes in of 12. So I finished, three quarters of Series 9?
Yep.
Easily rewatchable. And no spoilers, but this is far better to Series 8. I'm not sure how far into Series... have you actually gotten to Series 9 yet?
No, I haven't even started it.
That's fine.
I will start it. I will start it.
Uh-huh.
I will.
Okay. I have also watched 2 versions of Doctor Who, The Power of the Daleks.
Oh.
So there is the original version. Well, I'll say the original because it doesn't exist. The animated version.
Yeah.
With very BBC budget animation. It's quite poor. I'm sorry. It's nice to have it, but it looks poor. I also like the fact that when the Daleks are talking, you can basically hear the voice actor basically taking breaths in between. I'm like, you don't sound very robotic in that now, do you? It's like, I am your servant. I am your servant. Like,
yeah. He's have it, like actors like have like a quick puff of inhaler, like exterminate.
Yeah. And there's also a fan film version that was technically released back in 2011 by a guy called Nick Scoville. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Doesn't ring
Probably
a bell.
not.
No.
No, he's done a few Doctor Who related fan stuff in the past. This is obviously a severely budget friendly version that's set in Scotland instead of the planet Vulcan. Though it does have Nicholas Briggs as the voice of the Daleks. So he's actually in this.
Okay.
One of the operators, Barnaby Edwards, plays. I don't know if he plays the Prime Minister or someone at UNIT, one of them. But the Dalek props they've got are literally the ones from the show that have been sold or whatever to people, and they've just been spray painted silver and blue. And I'm like, that looks better than the bronze ones. And this is in the fan film. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was actually, for what it is, it's a 50-minute version of a 150-minute Doctor Who serial from 1967. I want to say it's from 1967. I think it is.
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
6 or 7.
One of the
One of
two.
those.
Yeah, one of the
Yeah,
two.
one of them. It's one of them. Jonathan Creek, episode 4, randomly put that on with the girlfriend at one point. I actually forgot when it was. I still very much like it. I forget how much I like it until I'm watching it and I'm like, oh yeah, I do actually like it. Very, very British. First time watch of Nope, Jordan Peele's.
I was wondering when you would get to this. I'm still yet to watch it, so I'm gonna hear your thoughts on it.
It's gonna have to be a second watch. I like it. I think it's good. There's just little bit. I mean, there's very little to criticize really beyond some, we'll say, design choices.
Do you know what it is?
Anything.
Like, I haven't seen the film, and I'm in like a lot of like horror like groups on Facebook and stuff like that, and like you just get them and like, I've seen Nope. It was shit. Jordan Peele is not a good filmmaker, and it's like, oh my god, will you just shut up?
Yeah.
Please.
I think the bit that bothered me the most wasn't actually the film itself. It was when I saw it, because I literally saw it last Tuesday. Or was it last? Actually, no, it wasn't. I think it was last Thursday. Last Wednesday or Thursday. We were the only people in the cinema. Literally just the two of us. Now, granted, there were two others
really?
that were technically in beforehand, but they left before the film even finished. And usually I wouldn't mind, but I think nowadays, especially with the way the September's been with like film releases, it's pretty dire.
Yeah.
And I mean, the one that I go to does like Cheapy Tuesdays, so you see like a film for cheaper all day, and they even said that on the night the maximum people they had was 20. And it's a big, it's a bit. I mean, it is only one screen, but it's big. So I was like, that's really not good.
No,
it was a bit similar to how people reacted to when Ridley Scott's film The Last Duel last year bombed like dramatically because no one was talking about it and no one went to go and see it. And it's like, this is the film you want to see and you don't support it. It's just weird. So I'll definitely watch this again. Hopefully I might be able to catch it before it leaves cinemas. Hopefully. Because I hate myself, and it was Disney Plus Day last week.
Wait, I want to guess this.
Okay, Dan.
Was it Thor: Love and Thunder?
Of course it was Thor: Love and Thunder. Because I clearly wanted to jam a pen up my feckin' nose. You know what it is? It's a 2-hour film. I had to watch it in 4 chunks over 3 or 4 days because I was like, I kind of...
Really?
I don't want to...
Oh, wow.
I don't like it. I'm sorry. It's even the
so
bits
is it still worse than Eternals for you?
Yeah.
Ooh,
That being said, I didn't want to I kind of want to rewatch Eternals, but I'm in no mad rush. But even the bits that I found mildly funny in this are nowhere near funny anymore, and they're just annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I didn't like it. Even after watching the making of Assembled, the making of Thor: Love and Thunder, which is better than the film. That isn't the first time that a Disney film has done that. Looking at you, episode 9. And it's just... yeah, technically it's better because you can see there's people that are actively enjoying working on it that you don't see because they're not in front of the camera because they're not the actors. I did find it funny how they built life-size heads props of the goats.
Yeah.
I was like, they look like disembodied goats. It's a bit freaky. They're just sort of...
Disembodied goats.
Oh yeah, they've just been pushed into frame. Yeah, it's technically better. Not the film though, just screw
They've
that.
got quite a few of those, like assembling or whatever they're called. Like that, I think there's like one
Yeah.
for Hawkeye. There's one for Thor, Love and
I didn't watch the
Thunder.
Hawkeye one. I watched
There's
the
quite a few of them, I
Black
know
Widow
that.
and the Shang-Chi one.
Ah, yeah,
They were
yeah.
quite good. But because Sony's Sony, we haven't got one for Spider-Man.
Yep.
You just have to watch the other scenes on the Blu-ray, which I still haven't yet. In fact, I'm pretty certain it's still in the packaging. I think it is. No, it's not. Anyway, last two things. Mission Impossible 3 rewatch with
Right. Okay.
with the
Stop
father.
right there. Stop right there. Right.
What?
That is just very, very weird coincidence because I saw a little bit of it on the TV over in Tenerife.
So did I. I watched it on the TV.
Okay, this is just not even funny coincidence. That's creepy.
Was this on? I think would it have been Saturday night? I think.
I think so. I'm pretty sure
Oops.
it would have been. Oh no! Coincidence? Yeah. I think not.
This is actually J.J. Abrams' first film.
Is it?
Mission Impossible. Yeah, Mission Impossible 3 is his first film,
Wow.
and it's got the long takes. It's got the lens flares. It's got the. Yeah, it's got that.
Yeah, it's just got yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. I think it's all right.
I didn't watch the full thing,
entertaining.
obviously, but like I just sort of like put it on.
No, I'll just stick to Mission Impossible Fallout. It's far superior. And the final one,
Oh no.
what did I say I watched earlier? Was it Halloween 2?
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have watched Halloween 3 as well.
Yeah.
I lied.
Oh, okay. I'm interested on your thoughts on this one because this is obviously a very different film.
It is very different, and I very much respect it for going in a different direction. I don't respect the rest of it because I think it's crap. It's just bland as hell.
Yeah, it is. I think honestly, I see where you're coming from because I really didn't like it when I first watched it. Like I just thought it was an absolute pile of silver shamrock turd.
You gotta love how like the lead is a doctor, and you never see him do any doctoring.
He's just an ironic doctor.
Oh yeah, beyond having sex with someone a few times before asking how old they are, I'm like, what the hell? Why is this a thing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna need to rewatch it because it's one of those films where I kind of fall out with it and then I go back to it and I like it.
Okay.
It's a strange one.
Well, for the first time, Dan, as someone who has now seen another Halloween film, I'm telling you, watch Halloween H2O instead.
No, please don't.
I will get to it eventually. Or have I got to it this week? I haven't. I'm not that cruel to myself.
Well, no, because you've got to go through 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Honestly, I'll go into them however I want, or I'll just feckin' avoid them, which was the plan initially. I was like, oh, 90 minutes, go on then. Then I was like, ugh. But yes, that has been my now record-breaking list. I dread to think what's going to happen in 2 weeks. You'll have watched maybe 70 things.
I mean, 40, right? Can I really do more than 40?
We're talking about films, right?
Yeah. Like, I think if I'm just gonna... I might just limit it to films, though. Because with a TV series, like, it's easy enough to rake up a higher number, because obviously it's a TV series. But with
Can you
films...
stop putting down the record-breaking amount that I've done, please, even though most of it is TV?
Yeah, okay, so when you're away wherever, I'm just going to sit and watch films and hope to God that it ends up in the 40s.
Well, you've got 2 weeks, so...
Oh, yeah, easily. 70, here I come.
Yeah. But yes, that has been my playlist for the past fortnight. As has been evidence, I've got no life when Dan's been...
Oh, just a bit.
frolicking in the sand and the sun and the sea, and I've been watching Halloween 3 Season of the Bitch. I mean, Witch. Sorry.
Season of the little bitch.
Oh, what a load of shite.
Oh, just wait. Just you wait till you get the Halloween Resurrection. You just wait.
That's fine. I fully intend to plan on waiting for that. But yes, now it's time for our, I'll say weekly discussion. This is our fortnightly discussion. Because, as mentioned a couple of times, Dan's been away for some reason. I don't know why. He mustn't like this podcast anymore. I swear to God, we're on episode 30, Dan. Haven't even referenced the fact it's episode 30 yet.
I know. Should probably reference the fact that it's now episode 30, even if it is like halfway through this podcast episode.
Oh, I'm nothing if not inconsistent. Though I did mention the time codes this time, so it's fine.
Did you?
Yeah, I did actually.
Oh.
Mm.
Obviously wasn't paying attention.
No, you weren't. You were trying to count how many things you watched and then realised you can't count past one. How convenient.
Yeah. Yeah.
One. What's next?
I don't know.
But yes, we're going to have a nice little discussion on how completely inept Warner Brothers is when it comes to DC films. This kind of goes back to a suggestion from Dan on a little document that we have with like little suggestions that he came up with. One of them was ranking the DC Extended Universe. I have very, very few plans to do that because even
let's
even
face
the
it, wouldn't be
bottom
much of a ranking, would it?
I was gonna say the bottom half is probably going to be terrible, and the top three are all right. Black Adam's actually at number 0.
What are you
It's
talking
just bad.
about? It's an absolute spectacle of a film. No, it's really not. I haven't even seen it yet. I know for a fact it's going to be an absolute bombshell.
It's a fucking speck, all right. Honestly. Honestly, yes. So we have mentioned this in the past. I think when we were still doing a news segment, we did speak a little bit about the whole Batgirl cancellation and where this was going to go.
Yeah.
And how clearly, the DC universe is having a lot of issues. But if you think about it, they've had issues since 2011, which I'll quickly highlight because, we need to lay the groundwork, which is something that the DC universe can't do, if you'll notice a trend here. So obviously, technically, this universe started with Man of Steel. It wasn't actually. It was going to be that bloody Green Lantern film that I finally watched a couple of weeks ago, as opposed to watching a Halloween film because I'm weird.
See, you'll just watch that absolute smut that I'm yet to watch. It's just staring at me, and I just can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't. Yeah, it's honestly staring at me. Ryan Reynolds on the cover of that is just staring at me like, please watch me.
Please watch my green animated super suit. No, don't. It's terrible. But yeah, so because that film did relatively unwell, I'll say unwell as if it's poorly. It's not. It's just shit. So they dropped all plans for a sequel or continuations in favour of the Superman solo film for 2013, Man of Steel, which I don't think we've really spoken about, to be honest, which I think it's safe to say that until probably the next superhero film that Zack Snyder did was probably the most polarising superhero film for a very long time. It's alright. I think it's quite good.
It is quite good. I'd
have to rewatch it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat really. Again, it's one of these films where I think you like it and then you fall out with it and then you go back and it's slightly better than you remember and then it's just okay after that.
Yeah, so, lukewarm reviews to say the least. It did decently well at the box office, so they were like, let's just, instead of just doing another Superman sequel, why don't we just throw Batman into the mix, because we know he'll make $1 billion just because he has bat ears. And we'll just throw in Wonder Woman as well. In fact, let's just throw in all of the Justice League and just set them up via email. Yep. Both behind the scenes and also in the film. In Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Ooh.
This is quite a priority rewatch for me, Regan, because I quite like it. I have it quite high rated, and I'm not sure why.
My girlfriend really likes the film, in a way I wasn't expecting. I can still remember, I think we were at Dad's a couple of years ago, and just while watching the TV, she just walked up and she's like, could we watch Batman v Superman again? And I was like, those were never the words I ever thought you would ever ask me. and I'm including everything that's possible in the English language.
See, I just wish this just happened to me sometimes. Like my girlfriend just saying to me, let's just go watch Halloween. I'm just waiting for that.
Good luck with that one.
It's never gonna happen.
You're watching that shit with me. I've got the day booked off and everything. I haven't got the day booked off. But yes, so that film was classified as a box office disappointment. And so that kind of went to shit as well. And then we got Justice League, which we have already spoken about. We have a dedicated episode 7, I think it was. I'll link it in the description. It's a very good episode. It's also very long. I think it's very long. Is it very long?
It's pretty much our own Snyder cut of it.
Well, it's not 4 hours, so that's all right. So everything we want to talk about is in there. Obviously, we had all the stuff with Snyder leaving, Joss Whedon taking over, all the allegations about that. And as I say, Warner Bros. Have absolutely no idea what the hell they want to do, and that's really the big running trend. They haven't got a fucking clue at all. And I'm also curious as to what you're staring at. I'm just looking at you, someone just sort of like looking up away from the webcam.
I thought I saw a spider, but it wasn't a spider. It was just my imagination.
Oh, you're imagining spiders now, are you?
Oh yeah.
I'm absolutely keeping this in, just for like comedy purposes. We're talking about like the ineptness of like a multi-billion-dollar Hollywood studio, and there's like, I'm thinking there's a spider on the ceiling, but I'm not sure.
Well, I saw something out the corner of my eye, I was just like, is that a spider? It's not.
No.
It's just the corner of the room. But yeah.
No, actually, Henry Cavill's on the ceiling looking to be Superman again. Help me, please.
Poor guy. Help me.
Yeah, yes.
Please.
Help.
Yeah, in all honesty, with Batman v Superman, like, I saw obviously the better edition of it, and I say better with like a...
Better.
Yeah. a thin line on it. The extended version, we'll say.
Excuse me, it is called the Ultimate Edition, which is just not a thing you do. You different call it that, like, honestly.
It doesn't really feel like an ultimate film, I can tell you that much.
No, it just feels like a film. Which even then is being generous.
It's okay. Again, like, I'm definitely going to have to rewatch this because I think the first time I watched it, I liked it, but now, like, after just sort of thinking about it again, it's just went right down. Right down.
Yeah, it's not the kind of one that I'd rewatch a lot. I mean, I do have the more updated Blu-ray because, I'm nothing but a shameless gloat of, like, showing off my collection, which you can't even see because This is audio, but even Dan can't see it because I've conveniently moved the laptop onto the other side so you can have a look at me Lego TARDIS instead. Oh no, it's actually not in there. Never mind. We've gone so off topic now. But yes, so that's kind of like the run up, and as I've said, this has mostly just been a thing of they've got absolutely no idea, and now I think it was about a month ago when they pulled the plug on the Batgirl film, which had just finished filming, $90 million, and I thought, nah, let's just get rid of it. Because we don't care about films going straight to streaming anymore.
Do you know what it is, right? It still irritates me, the fact that they cancelled that. Not because of, like, Batgirl or anything. I mean, I don't give a toss, I'm more frustrated at the fact that they pumped $90 million into that and they're happy enough just to piss that down the drain when they could have used that to finance something else.
Well, there were more things that came out after we'd spoken about, because I think that was actually the last time we did a news segment for the podcast, and the directors, whose names I'm not even going to try and butcher, they did Bad Boys for Life, quite a good film actually. I didn't mind that. I think that was actually the first or second film I watched this year, courtesy of not being at work on New Year's Day, so I'm just still awake past midnight. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just watch Bad Boys for Life because it's on Netflix. But they spoke about how they went back to Warner Brothers to collect footage for the film, just to have something, and it had been deleted entirely. Even they don't have anything. But what made it even more shady was the fact that Warner Brothers has technically removed all of it, but actually kept a rough cut and showed it to a few people on one of the backlots of Warner Brothers, and then deleted the rest of it entirely. Basically just to prove, I think it was to the IRA, that there wasn't actually a film available, so they could like write it off as a tax write-off, which I thought that is shady as hell. Like, that's absolutely disgusting. Unbelievably disgusting. And so apparently because of all that, and how when they cancelled it and everything, their profit margin just dropped entirely. This is why I mentioned about the Don't Worry Darling thing. Warner Brothers now only have enough of a budget to both release and market 2 big films this year. Hence why they dropped Shazam to next year.
Ooh.
So now they've only got Black Adam and Don't Worry Darling as like the only things they can actually afford. That's like a pretty solid rumour. But I fully believe that, because again, it just goes back to the ineptness.
Because I mean, as you say, like they just put on these films and then they just piss away the millions that they've put into them. So it's no wonder they really can't do anything else this year. I mean, like it's September now.
Mm-hmm.
They've still got like if they just weren't so stupid, they could have had like something else. Like it wouldn't have to be superhero stuff. They could just do something else for once.
Yeah.
But now because they've done this, they only supposedly have 2 films, one of which isn't doing too good.
Yeah, it's. I mean, look, if Black Adam's actually a success, which I don't believe for a second, I'm very certain, if that doesn't bomb, it's just going to disappoint, because there's only 7 people that actually want to see that film, and they're all related to The Rock. The Rock being one of them. Because I didn't care. That Don't Worry Darling is more. I'm more interested in watching that just because of all the behind the scenes stuff that's been going on. Whether or not they're all true, we don't know. Though I did see the clip of Harry Styles appearing to spit into Chris Pine's lap. And judging by Chris Pine's face, even though he said he didn't actually spit in his lap, I'm like, you look like he just has. So I'm not sure which one it is. Not that I don't think I'll watch that. I mean, whenever it gets released.
Do you know what it is? Like all the drama of that, I just picture like the Big Brother like narrator voice, like Tier 33 on Don't Worry Darling. Harry Styles
has yet again decided to regurgitate like an owl. Oh, I'm doing sound effects now. Regurgitate like an owl.
I mean, why you went to that, I don't know, but okay. Moving swiftly. Harry Snowles. God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, I know that David F. Sandberg did actually react to the whole thing of Shazam being pushed to next March, despite being finished. Where he said, actually, I don't mind, because now there's IMAX screens available for Shazam and instead of just for Avatar. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine, but it's still a bit.
Well, the point is, it's delayed until next year. That's the point. Mm-hmm. Like they were very set on with it being a December release, and they're just like, yeah, we'll just move it. Yeah,
It's been convenient now, because now Aquaman's been pushed to next December.
Oh, fuck.
So December 2023. So apparently there were going to be reshoots to that to include more of Ben Affleck.
Do you know what it is?
He's clearly going to survive The Flash now.
It really frustrates me how much they just do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, we have a 10-year plan, and we can't even have 10 minutes to decide if we're going to release a film this year.
Last thing, because I started writing the script for this episode a couple of weeks ago, so I'm already ahead of Warner Brothers on most of their releases again.
Yep.
And I did speak about how Dan Lin, a producer who worked on the Sherlock Holmes films, the Lego movies, and It, had been touted to become the new head of the DC side of things. Mm-hmm. And the Hollywood Reporter talked about it, as did Variety and all that sort of stuff. You're staring at the spider again. Are you sure it is actually a spider now?
No, I just... I needed to stretch it a little bit. And yes, it's definitely not a spider.
Typical, honestly. Um, but now it's been confirmed that Dan Lin has opted not to do that. And I don't blame him, because if he goes into that, he is in for a complete and utter shit show, frankly. Because, like, okay, so am I actually producing, or am I just standing in for you guys who are actually producing, but it's my name now? That's kind of the thing they're going to go with, because of that bloody, what's his name, David Zaslav, who's now the head of Warner Brothers. It's just, again, where they're like, oh, we're going to announce all of these things, and hopefully we'll do them, or we'll just drop them entirely and just say, oh, well, no one was interested. It's kind of the thing that I feel like Marvel's going to start doing now, where it's like, oh yeah, let's announce all of this and just see what sticks. Even Ubisoft did it with their showcase this week when they announced 3 Assassin's Creed games. But 2 of them are way far in the future, so they've actually got enough time to develop it and gauge the fan reaction as well. And I was like, okay, you've given us an actual reason. Warner Brothers, no. Like, absolutely not. I do know that David Zaslav did say that Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are to be the chief characters in this franchise. I'm like, well done. You're actually doing something clever. Could you give us a Superman film, please? Because, I mean, outside of like the animated stuff, the last time we had an actual Superman solo film was 2013. 9 years now. And even then, technically, the last time we had Henry Cavill actually soup up. I didn't even mean to do that.
just goes in the back cave with some Heinz tomato soup. Soup up.
I wasn't thinking of that soup. I was thinking like Superman up. For God's sake, Dan. I can tell you've been on bloody holiday.
Oh yeah, honestly. Just a bit. It's not like I haven't slept or anything, you know.
Oh, I haven't either. It's fine. So the last time that Henry Cavill actually put on the actual costume technically would have been like 2016, 2017, because I don't count the Snyder Cut, because that doesn't count, because it's
quite a while ago.
That's 5 years. I'm like, does he actually still fit, or because it's either a case of like he's either too big for it now, or he's too small, depending on what his physique is like in The Witcher. I've got absolutely no idea. I haven't watched that one yet. I will eventually. I will get to The Witcher. But as I say, it's like they've got absolutely no clue. And, we did mention as well when they said, oh, we're going to go for like a Marvel-esque kind of thing. I'm like, please don't do that. Like, honestly. Like, I felt like we're getting to the... I mean, especially now that we're getting to the point where even the Marvel movies are like, we're kind of sick of your template. Like, we're already sick of it when the other studios were trying to do it and it wasn't working. Yeah. Now you're still doing it and it isn't working anymore.
Just stop.
Yeah. I mean, I could like open the discussion with, so what exactly would you do with this franchise? But I think you'd probably say something like, well, I'd make it good for one. because I know I would.
Actually have an idea of what I'd actually like to release and not just bullshit a fan base by saying, oh yeah, we've got a 10-year plan, but we can't even like have 10 minutes without rearranging the whole thing and then just give false hope.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's fine if you have like a storyline that like, okay, we're going to be inspired by the comics a bit, like with like how the Infinity Saga was based on all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, Marvel did like its thing of like, okay, this is the amount of films we're going to do, it's all going to lead to this, blah, blah, blah. DC hasn't had that, but also I don't need them to do that. Like, even doing what they've been doing more recently with just like the more standalone stuff, like doing a standalone Suicide Squad sequel, Joker being its own thing. I guess he can do another Batman. I'm not looking forward to it, but, well, I am a little bit. If you do a less comical version of Mr. Freeze, I'll watch it. I'd quite like to see that. Less Arnold Schwarzenegger, quite frankly.
And less ice puns, please. Alright, everybody.
Freeze.
Chill.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. No, it didn't, Arnold. It wasn't the Ice Age. It was a giant fucking space rock. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think standalone is just the way forward at the minute, because let's just face it, we're sick of this absolute BS that they're pumping out. Well, they haven't even pumped anything out yet. They're just like, all right, yeah, Shazam's coming out, which I pretty much looking forward to because I quite like Shazam. But then they're just like, oh yeah, we'll just put it in March. Like, you've just dug yourself into a huge hole.
And I can guarantee it's going to be set at Christmas again.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, if they make it
as
a December release, surely something Christmassy is going to be themed. And so when it's in March and there's Christmas, it's like, what? That makes zero sense.
Yeah.
It's March. So, I just wished, like, they'd really get their act together, but it's pretty obvious that they're not going to do that. They're just going to continue just pissing away millions down a drain in stuff that they finished and then just decide, no.
I think at this rate, like, honestly, despite the fact that they've had some of the finest casting in superhero stuff, like, I think Henry Cavill as Superman, absolutely spot on.
Yep.
You got Ben Affleck whenever he decides to show up. To be decent enough. Bloody Ray Fisher as Cyborg, who's had one appearance and was going to be in The Flash, and then he, was very outspoken about, like, how much of a shit show it was to work on these films, and they're like, oh, no, we'll just leave you, that's fine. Or even, like, bloody Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Obviously, Jared Leto. No. I'd rather see him in Morbius 2, It's Morbing Time. I would rather see
Morbing Time.
Imagine Jared Leto in a Power Rangers film. Anyway.
No, I don't want to imagine that in all honesty.
Why not? Why not, Dan? You clearly have zero taste, man who watches Split on plane. Honestly. You had one job.
I tell you what, like, the standalone stuff I just much prefer. I mean, look, the Suicide Squad, not to be confused with the absolute dire entry Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad is just terrific. I love that. Yeah. I absolutely love that film. It's like one of my favourite superhero films of all time. It's just so funny.
Well, I mean, I think, like, even if we did do a DCEU ranked thing, I'm facing that'd be at the top for both of us, to be honest.
Oh, yeah,
then even,
without
like,
a doubt.
Even the next one's like, well, it's pretty good. Like, everything else is, like, either really, really damn good to garbage. So it's not particularly consistent at all, but, the point is, like, with that whole casting thing, that's the only reason I wouldn't do what I would do, which is just do a full-on reboot. Just scrap everything else and just start over with someone who actually knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
I think
honestly a reboot is pretty much their only hope at this time. Like,
or even I think put some more money into the animated division and do like the animated films they've been doing each year, but give them a bigger budget and just do that instead. Because there's so much more you can do with animation, as we saw with Marvel's bloody What If, where they just have freaking everything. And now we're getting zombies as well. Yay. Marvel zombies. No. You're interested, I'm not. That's kind of like the running theme with most of this podcast. Dan's interested, Regan isn't, because he's about as level-headed as anything else. Dan would rather watch Halloween Resurrection.
No, he would not. Don't you feed misinformation to our fans. Dan would rather.
I don't spread misinformation, Dan.
Dan would rather get zapped by a Dalek than watch Halloween Resurrection.
I'm going to use that to my advantage now. I don't know how, but I will. It's. As I say, I would just reboot the entire thing, or just scrap it. We've had enough. I'm not gonna say I've had enough of the superhero films, because there's plenty that I'd still like to see. I'm of course really looking forward to Kraven the Hunter. And like, what's it, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse? I think it is next year. I can't remember if it's Across or Beyond, because there's two of them that's coming out. I think it's Across.
I think it's Across. I'm pretty sure it's Across. Across the Spider-Verse, because obviously you get Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, and then the one after.
Yeah, whatever.
And I still haven't watched that film.
Didn't you say you bought it as well?
You know what it is? I downloaded it for this bloody holiday. I still didn't bloody watch it. Right, this film, right, I have had this film for absolutely ages and I still haven't watched it. I need to watch it.
Yeah,
I
you
would
do,
say
Dan.
that I would say I'm going to watch it this week, but we both know that's not going to happen. I'm just going to
Well,
end up
no
watching
offense.
some horror smut.
I was gonna say I can still remember when you said you were gonna watch it about 3 months ago, and I've still been holding you to that.
Yeah.
Like I literally have it all on my script. Ask Dan if he watched Into the Spider-Verse yet.
Yeah. The answer is no.
The answer is very, very much no. Yeah, I think that kind of rounds off the discussion. Frankly, I don't think there's. Yeah, just Warner Brothers, get your fucking shit together. I swear to God. But yes, of course, we do have Black Adam in I think it's November. I can't remember if it's October or November. No, actually, I think it is October.
October.
Great. Yeah, is it
It's
before or after Halloween?
Before. I know which film I'm looking forward to seeing.
Is it Dawn, Worry Darling? Regan, you have no idea.
It's Black Adam, of course. I mean, God, you wouldn't think of, like, I'm totally addicted to Halloween or anything like that, God. Yeah, I'm... Put it this way, I'll probably end up seeing Halloween a few times in the cinema rather than... Yeah.
Well, no offense, we do have an episode planned for Black Adam, so at least watch the trailer.
Well, of course I'll watch it.
About as much as the film runtime is. It's like,
Of course I'll go and see it, but whether I enjoy it is very unlikely. Well, yeah, it is likely I'm going to enjoy it.
I was gonna say, I mean, like you enjoyed Thor 4, and
Well, again,
you're just
rewatch, and I'm going to hate it because I just really don't like that film anymore.
And I'm really sorry for bringing you back to reality.
I was happy on my little space cloud, alright, and then you just punctured it.
Excuse me, Dan. Honestly, you honestly make it out as if all I do is just like severely unrecommend films to you. That's probably fair.
You don't exactly do a great job of pitching films to me that are worth my time.
Do I need to reference the Halloween films every single week again? Because you have not made it work.
No.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Regan. I'm sorry.
I mean, if I was going to pitch something, I'd say, that Reagan is just excessively wrong, that the 2018 Halloween is just bad, because it's not.
I'm sending your ass back to Tenerife.
Not even on a plane, I'm just going to send you on a freaking ferry. Just a cargo boat.
I'm thinking more like a rowing boat with one paddle, and it's been half eaten.
It's been half eaten. Oh, can't miss the Tenerife.
It's working, I promise. It's like, no, it's not, Dan. Sorry. That was a bit of a tangent, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, there's nothing exactly good to say about the DCEU segment of this podcast episode, because there's nothing good to say.
No, I mean, like, we could rank them. Maybe we will after Black Adam comes out.
Yeah. I think we'll have to do that once, because obviously that's like going to be it's the only DCEU release of the remainder of this year, isn't it? Because obviously Shazam's been pulled to 2023 now. March 2023.
And the Batman isn't classed as a DCEU film, because heaven forbid you have a Batman film set in this franchise. Ooh, we could have done. But yes, thank you very much for listening to our fairly lengthy and kind of all over the place discussion on Warner Brothers. About as all over the place as that franchise is anyway, so it's fine. It kind of lines up pretty well. As ever, leave comments if you want, like, share, subscribe, all that sort of fiasco. As mentioned, there's no episodes next week. I'm in Dundee for a few days. It's not nearly as glamorous as Tenerife, but very Scottish weather. So I'm looking forward to that one. But week after that, we're talking about one of the most successful video games and most infuriating video games of recent memory, and that is Gutter Ave, as I like to call it now. Good to have. It's good to have, apparently. Yes, we're talking about Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online and all that stuff, because it's 9 years old by that point-ish. I think it's about 9 years. We could wait until next year, but
Nah.
no, I'd rather talk about it now and just get it over with, frankly.
I think
But
that's
yes,
going to be a long one. That's going to be a long one. Yeah. You're not denying it, so...
No, I'm not wrong. It's probably going to be. I should probably write the script for that one as well.
A script, that thing's going to be a bloomin'... what do you call it?
Mess.
No,
Fiasco.
damn it, what's the word?
Terrible.
Will you stop? No, I've lost it now. You've just wrecked that, right? Okay.
Okay, promise then. Promise now. On the microphone, you will remember the word in time for the next episode.
Good to
Good to have the good to have the on.
good to have.
Oh, honestly, but yes, thank you very much for listening. But anyway, it is goodbye from my co-host Dan,
Goodbye.
and it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.